Hello there, my friends. Let's get started with the whole experience of all of the empires that will battle in the grand AI tournament. There's a lot of empires, as you can see here, and we're going to go through every one of them, at least shortly. Now, if anyone has written a very nice biography, stay tuned for these. They are usually extremely nice and extremely good to hear. Feel free to be inspired and create something similar. It's always fun. There's some really genius creators out there of empires, be it for the fun or be it for the competition to create the best AI empire out there. It's always very good to know what other people can do as well. So, and your empire might just be in, because I took every empire that I got. So I think it's 70 empires or something, maybe a little bit more. Let's start with it. We have the Giranshu Corporation, which has no big biography. It is, as you can see here, a mega corporation with a ruthless competition, the brand loyalty. It's egalitarian and fanatic materialist, so a good combination to tech ruthlessly, because the Giranshu are also intelligent and natural engineers, so they could become synthetics maybe later on. They are also non-adaptive, more to that synthetics vibe, right? Slow breeders and traditional, so they get a lot of unity and a lot of research and additional specialized output as well as great leaders. And we have the demonic dominion. Let's see, they are a blood court of fanatic purifiers, so they are extremely dangerous, but they are also caring for the environment, probably by wiping all those people out. They're caring for the environment of the planets. I don't know, they're fanatic xenophobes, of course, as you must be something like that when you're a fanatic purifier. That gets a lot of bonuses for army and ships, and gains unity from purging xenopops, and cannot engage in diplomacy, nor in the galactic market. They're also militarist, which goes along fine with fanatic xenophobe. To each other they are nice. They're communal, highly communal. They are conservationists, also conserved, recycled environmentalists. Yeah, that all goes together. They're ingenious as well, so getting a little bit more out of the jobs, but they have somehow they are slow learners. Maybe that goes together with being xenophobe. They are not, I would say they are not that flexible. They're going their trusted ways, and they're sedentary. They don't want to move, and they probably don't want people to move to them as well. This race of horned demons, they're from a tundra world. This race of horned demons have adapted to the prime material plane rather well over the course of many centuries, after a small band somehow crossed over from another dimension. They've retained their innate hostility in the form of extreme xenophobia, but their former spiritual bent has atrophied into a mere asceticism which reduces their consumption of material goods. Also, they care about being pure on all levels. Strategy: load them up with passive bonuses the AI will benefit from in the early game, and the fanatic purify ethic encourages them to put those bonuses to work early and often. From Oculament on Reddit. Very nice to hear from you. Then we have the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Look at these crazy turtles, but they are diplomatic. They live in a huge fucking pond, an ocean world, as you can see here. Tank the Turtle. We should really look at these names. Look at who's Gebroth Xizar. And we have Tank the Turtle here. It's leading them. They're a war council, an oligarchic war council. 20 years to select a new ruler. They have a warrior culture. I imagine these turtles marching on. Increased army damage, and the entertainer jobs are duelist jobs, and they turn alloys into unity. Woo! Crazy things. Slaver guilds. I should try these. Authoritarian. So they can go for stratified economy. If you know, Lumen stratified economy is like a rather ancient form of economy, but it still exists mainly in monarchic societies, and here also in oligarchic, as you can see. More monthly influence and worker basic output. Fanatic militarists. It goes, of course, well with warrior culture, and they are also traditional, holding up their traditions. Deviants, probably they're fighting all the time. A little bit decadent. They don't want to be workers or slaves. They want to fight, probably. They're traditional and intelligent, preserving their heritage and expanding it, and quick learners. So very interesting, and not a dumb warrior stereotype, but rather a refined warrior type. Then we have Toucan, if you can. That's funny somehow. On his holy loop, and Toucan Sam is leading them. Nice circle here. So ornamental on a Gaia world. So they are a life-seeded theocratic oligarchy, probably thankful for their world. Functional architecture they have. Reduced build cost and upkeep for buildings and districts by 10%, very useful. Egalitarian, so higher specialist output and faction influence gain. But can't use the autocratic government forms, and they're fanatic spiritualists. So they won't have robots probably, or full AI rights at least. Monthly unity goes up massively by 20%, edict cost goes down by 10%. Pretty helpful. They are also breeding faster, these birds, like pigeons. 10% more, not adaptive though. Yeah, if you're on a Gaia world, you can and life seeded, you can also go for non-adaptive. You'll probably go into the direction of, and that is really the special thing. I mean, normally you would go for a strategy like from life seeded to probably synthetics, but now they are probably going for the terraforming tactic. At least that's what I would do with this setup. Intelligent, rapid breeders, non-adaptive and weak, and quick learners. One day, the feature of a cereal box, hundreds of years later rediscovered and growing its religion to legend, and beyond, completely devoted zealots guard this small corner of their home galaxy, but to never be crossed. And then you have the eternal empire of Alaria Nael. Look at that, a blood court of fanatic elves by Fira Natolki. They are fanatic purifiers. Again, we have that, and they'll be fatal. We have distinguished admiralty, so they have ship fire rate on top of the ship fire rate they already get. Fanatic xenophobe increase their growth speed and decrease their starbase influence costs. So again, they can expand a little bit more, and they have even more ship fire rate because they're militarist. Their claim influence cost goes down as well. They are also rapid breeders, going the way of a lot of population. They are not Gaia world based though. They're on an alpine world, which makes them probably easy to expand to other planets. They're deviants, quarreling, probably because of their warrior-like nature, slow learners, as I said, and maybe a little bit inflexible or trusting the old ways a little bit. And they probably, again, pure conservationists, 10% less consumer goods upkeep, and strong, so really the great warriors, army damage plus 20%, which is powerful. And these are obviously space elves whose leader, Firna Tolkien, is named after J.R.R. Tolkien. One of the best ways for the AI to play is with a suicidal empire. Yeah, it's win or go bust. Their traits are easily explained. Pop growth is king, which is why they are rapid breeder. Deviance is a free trade point. The AI doesn't take care of its leaders well enough, so slow learners is again mostly free. The renounced stupidity of its choices leads to a shortage of consumer goods easily, so conservationist helps with that, and strong boosts their overall productivity of basics a little bit, to 2.5%. Industrious would have been very useful, but there's not enough points here, which is why they'll get an alpine world, as that is, like every frozen world, the most abundant with minerals. They'll be on an imperial government of fanatic purifiers, further helped along by a distinguished admiralty. Both of these provide very strong ship fire rate increases, leading to an early domination. Created by EU Inosil C on Reddit. Now we come to Nazgul's empire. Very monstrous, led by the Nazgul, a martial imperial empire now. An imperial empire. Yeah, that's doubled down on Navaril Prime, an Arctic world. They also have a warrior culture, but they are also a free haven, so it's maybe the spirit of the free warrior here. They are xenophile and militarist, that's a curious combination, and materialists, like setting off their diplomatic bonuses and negatives there. So they can be diplomatic, but they can also be a little bit annoying. They're also materialists, so they can allow academic privilege living standards, which can be very helpful for research. And they're in general very materialist and martial. So they're slow breeders and repugnant. Repugnant is not that bad. Usually when I play, after the start I always get a lot of amenities, so I imagine the AI could do that too. Very strong they are, as it is fitting for a warrior culture probably. So they have really high, oh look at that, 60% more army damage. They're intelligent. Just getting the flat bonus to research, and quick learners. Quick to learn from their experiences. I mean, it always said that the AI mistreats leaders. This can, a quick learner can then be an advantage. You could say they're just neglecting them, and then you can go for slow learners. And you can also say, I don't know what is better, we'll go for quick learners, so they learn quick and be useful quickly. Born at the Middle Earth, and after exterminating a minor bipedal species, these mollusks have harnessed the power of the atom and have started their galactic conquest. You'd better cover your ears. Oh my goodness. And we have gluttony. Oh, what a creation that, like one of the sins. Like that is very inspired from the name. Gluttony. It looks fat. It looks like the Blorg gluttony, a ravenous hive. Devouring swarm, eating others up, getting society research from it. They have a better army, better starbase influence cost decreased, better research speed for biology, more efficient ship and naval stuff, and it's the strength of legions, so their army is also better. Gestalt consciousness gives less war exhaustion gain and more monthly influence, so very useful for war. Hive-minded and strong, so even more army damage. So we have 40%, we have 60%, we have 80% more army damage. That goes beyond ridiculous. Rapid breeders as well. And being a hive mind also adds pop growth speed. They are fleeting, repugnant, and adaptive, so they can spread very quickly. Their leaders living a little bit less long, but that won't be a problem. They will have so many people. They're living on Menjus Prime and led by the consciousness of the Meldari Galactic Imperium. Yeah, its voraciousness does not know limits. The Meldari Galactic Imperium of Space Parrots. I like these. They are also the... they are led by someone named Nazgul. But they are avian. Look at that. They get that... I always think of this as an AI symbol. They are living on Navaril Prime. A cute face here. An illuminated autocracy. So they can use slavery a bit, I think, but they can actually not. A designated successor becomes the new ruler. Okay, an empire, true empire, a technocracy. Capital buildings replace some administrative jobs with science directors and produce one unity. So they get unity in addition and a little bit more research jobs. So more research mechanists as well. So they get robots early, might transform into synthetics then. Because robot upkeep minus 5% is okay. Pacifists, a little bit more efficient at the start. And more stability is always useful, of course. And fanatic materialist helps with robot upkeep and research speed again. Again, rapid breeders and intelligence, so they will spread quickly, and later on they'll probably be replaced by synthetics as they're weak. And deviants, the Meldari Galactic Imperium. We come to the German Reich, an imperial star empire with a distinguished admiralty, efficient bureaucracy. So the Deutschers are leading them. They're authoritarian, xenophobe, and militarist. Yeah, like that's the vibe. That's the vibe. That's classic stereotype. I got a description for that, so I chose some things freely, like the portrait and so. They're industrious and natural engineers, as is going on. They live on the Reichswelt. Wasteful, the German Reich, Super Magical Cookie, from Super Magical Cookie. On Reddit, we have the Integrated Council of Xako, with again this penguin-like bird named, who's leading the German Reich? It's Friedrich. We have Fu on the Integrated Council of Xako, living on Xako, with an Irenic bureaucracy that has an efficient bureaucracy and is environmentalist and oligarchic, of course. The egalitarian, xenophile pacifist, and that's really reminding us of where our society could go, right? Natural sociologists and biologists, of course, and communal and charismatic. They're like the good people of the galaxy. Slow breeders as well. Let's see what led them to be that way. The species evolved in a cold and harsh environment where reliance on one another was key to survival. Consequently, they are a very social race, accustomed to living in close proximity, their culture emphasizing the strong social skills and considerations necessary for such a living arrangement. The philosophy and research endeavors are therefore primarily focused on social integration and harmony, an attitude that they will likely carry forward in their interaction with a wider galactic community. From Fu, like that leader, on the Paradox forums. We come to High Plumage. I remember these from the last AI tournament. They did quite well. I think they were in the top thing. And they're now a theocratic imperial monarchy. They have slaver guilds, can use slaves for more productivity, and a police state, probably to keep the slaves in check and to get more unity too. Authoritarian, as that enables them to have the stratified economy that is useful for slavery. And cannot use democratic government forms, like xenophobe. They can send people away and have more pop growth speed and less expansion cost. Spiritualist for more monthly unity and less edict cost. They're sedentary. Curious for avians, but probably they are very territorial. So they keep their trees for themselves. They're talented and quick learners, so they'll have great leaders. Also natural sociologists that increase the chance for their leaders to live a little bit longer. From the research, we have the Foxia, led by Yip, the male on Foxia, the continental world, the military junta of oligarchic foxes with syncretic evolution. They have another subservient species. Oh, let's look into that. How does it look? Look, they have... They got indeed lithoid serviles. They consume minerals instead of food. They're very strong, slow learners and quarrelsome. Well, that's not bad for them, right? Now that's an interesting additional race. Have a meritocracy, so their leaders will be quite good. Egalitarians, they are. Specialists, faction, influence gain, and fanatic militarists. These venerable foxes will, with their great leaders, show everyone else what's up, right? 80 more years, they live right out of the box. That's not negligible. Deviants and weak. Yeah, I mean, that's something their lithoid slaves or subordinates will do for them, right? We have now the American Empire. Look at that man. Thomas Jefferson, the proud Thomas Jefferson leads them. Look at that. They are based on science, this says, and it's true. They're also mechanists. They love robots and having a couple of robots around there. An empire now. But they have merchant guilds, so they are very commercial. Xenophobes, they are. A help in expansion. Militarists, well, of course, as an empire, that is very helpful. And materialists, maybe they will become synthetics one day. Extremely adaptive, which helps them spread a little bit quicker, enduring, which makes their leaders better as longer living. Slow breeders, as they probably don't need to breed that much with a lot of robots there. And sedentary. Yeah, you can use that if you have the ability to have robots as well, because then you will have another growth going, and that's usually very fine. The Imperium of Man, an enlightened imperial monarchy. Look at the proud eagle Theodora Romanov. One of the Romanovs is leading this holy terror. My goodness, she's a philosopher. We've got a philosopher king, and they're mechanists. Wow, that's some Asimov stuff right here. And an empire that is probably headed towards synthetic ascension. Look at that. Authoritarian militarists as well. So looking out for war, but reasonable, calculated war. They're intelligent and traditional, holding up their traditions, their banners. Strong, probably. Strong warriors, but also lacking robots. They're sedentary and wasteful, though. Because they put everything into their robots, probably. I mean, that's probably what they do. From Soundwave on Discord. Imperium of Man are the survivors from Terran Commonwealth from the last AI tournament. They had abandoned their ideals to survive, creating an authoritarian system in place of the Republic. Yeah, they were there in the last AI tournament, and they survived. It's really good, and they became the Imperium of Man. And now, let's go over the children of Gaia, also from Soundwave. I've got a collective consciousness hive mind, and this hive mind actually doesn't eat everything. Instead, it has one mind, gives us more unity and a divided attention, which supports an early expansion, increase the efficiency. With fleeting people, look, I think that's the Bowel picture. Arayan is leading them. Very interesting. Sedentary and fleeting they are, but agrarian and rapid breeders. So they are not really migrating, but they'll be put on a planet, and then they'll grow. We are Gaia, protectors of nature, the sword and shield of our mother Gaia, as we seek harmony with our ecosystem and our Xeno friends. So they will probably want to transform everything into Gaia planets. That's something I really want to try out one day as well. The children of Gaia. We have the Farron Technet then, with this triangle here, led by Wittener Falcon, the female, on Farn Keras. Oh, what's their planet? The Gaia's planet, of course. Yeah. They have a rational consensus, a democratic rational consensus, very rational. They are crazy. They got a technocracy, and a meritocracy. So they're just very good with the specialist output, also coming from egalitarian, and research speed from the materialists, intelligence. They're just very, very good at, as that is a specialist job, research. Incredibly good. Intelligent and rapid breeders too, but they are wasteful and sedentary. They will overcome being wasteful probably through their tech. Ferens are a race who seek knowledge. Yeah, science will give them the power to stand the test of time. Yeah, that's something we all want to do, right? Stand the test of time. That's the thing we're looking forward the most. And we've got the, like, what do they call it? The metal space unicorns, the Ponite Erosion Council. Yeah. Also, you might be looking at that and looking, why are these locked in? Now, these are the pre-selected empires of the first galaxy that I've started running right now, and there were quite some wishes to put some against each other, and like the best metal ones, the best metal heads, because all of this also goes into the personality used of the AI, and that influences their behavior quite much. So some are going to be more warlike than others and have really different personalities. If you look into that in the wiki, it's quite interesting how they behave then. So we got these unicorns, as that was said. They live on the wicked cliffs of and led by Krog and Noshek. They are an oligarchic war council with mining guilds. Yeah, they are stone and they live stone. They have a warrior culture as well. Of course, they eat stone, so mining guilds is very good for their general survival. They're xenophobes, though. Militarists and materialists. That's quite a very well-liked combination for the standard research-based combat one, as opposed to someone with a special government that cannot do diplomacy. They can do diplomacy. They're lithoids, so decreasing their pop growth speed a bit, using minerals instead of food. For food, habitability goes up by 50%, army health as well, and leader lifespan by 50. So, and are very long-living people there. They even get more minerals, 15% more from jobs. So that is 1 + 1, not only +1, but plus 1.15 already. They get volatile excretions, volatile modes per month increased. It really helps with the specialist buildings later on if you have a big population. They're strong, increasing the worker basic output and army damage. They're also quarrelsome and repugnant though, something that is regarded as not very bad picks. Ponites are not a pleasant people to be around. They're loud, rude, crude, and riotous. Their silicon-based biological processes result in them excreting explosives, which must be carefully disposed of. Yeah, these explosive thoughts. Ponites reproduce, not quite at geological speed, but slowly regardless. A crystal is broken off their horns and embedded in a slate. A mineral-rich water drip is then held to it for years, causing the shard to grow through the stone, and eventually a young pebble breaks free and can consume nutrients more properly. Despite their aggressive and uncooperative nature, there is a method to their madness. When a ponite is not told to do work, it will work hard, and the stone and crystals making them up are bound together tight, resulting in incredible strength. We made it our world. And the meteor, holding our damn ancestors, crashed onto the dry canyons and mesas of wicked cliffs. It wiped out most of the squishy carbon stuff on it and brought us. We moved through the stone, up through the fault lines. We made the inanimate rock around us into our tools. With this power, the carbon stuff was put in its place immediately. Slowly, we built our way up and found new energies to channel through the crystals into the hyperdrive. The metals we have made will tame the rest of the cosmos. And then we have the evil empire. Oh my god, led by Thubskion of Urug. Something very Cthulhu-esque with a yeah, I mean the skulls in the background, living on Gobath, and a continental world, an imperial star empire with the bureaucracy though. The Byzantine bureaucracy helping with pop amenities and pop housing, and cutthroat politics or cut tentacle politics, the fanatic authoritarians and militarists Oh, pretty intimidating rapid breeders. Enduring they are, of course, and quick learners. Classic mind flayers, quarrelsome defiance as well. Since the dawn of time, Gobath was the site of countless battles between good and evil. Mighty heroes and depraved villains battled for mastery of the Jaloons. At the dawn of the industrial era, the final war began. Over 100 years later, it ended in a reign of nuclear fire. The forces of evil had triumphed. Soon, all the world bowed down to the evil empire. As technology advanced, the evil empire extended its reach throughout the Thari system. Now, the invention of the hyperdrive has put all the galaxy within the empire's reach. And look, more molluscoids, the Commonwealth of Chaos. They're also there. My goodness, how could I miss them? The Jaloon. Yeah, they're the same. But they have lost, as we've seen in the former backstory. They are an imperial blood court. They are, at least can do diplomacy. They will not. Fanatic purifiers with a Corvi system for better resettlement. Fanatic xenophobes as well, and militarists. Oh, these are fanatic authoritarians. These are fanatic xenophobes. Adaptive, rapid breeders, and nomadic. They are also solitary, so this goes crazy together with rapid breeders and solitary, nomadic, and repugnant, less amenities. They are living on the cradle of chaos, an ocean world. The Commonwealth of Chaos. How will they do? They'll spread or die, probably. We'll see about that. Very respectable race and empire. Then we have the Wave and Rose Concordat. An Irenic monarchy, an empire with functional architecture and Byzantine bureaucracy. So very formalist, very, you can see, you can look at them. They have so many eyes and they are grey. They are like the grey people from Michael Endy's Momo. Led by Archile Argenteus. So they are probably made of I don't know, silver. And just going very bureaucratic. But they're fanatic xenophile pacifists, so they are really friendly bureaucrats. As long as you have your papers, you're welcome. Papers, please. Charismatic they are, traditional and communal. They also like each other. Sedentary and slow breeders, though. They like to stay where they are and not to have too many children. It's good, though. It's good. We have Radio Matt Warts, led by Rids. On Philia 1, they're a subversive cult, a corporate subversive cult. They have the gospel of the masses, that spiritualist pops give additional trade value on all planets, and branch offices can build a temple of prosperity corporate building, and spiritualist ethics attraction plus 50%. Oh. They have a criminal heritage, so they have the subversive cult. Cannot form commercial pacts, federations, can build branch offices everywhere. And that increases crime. Can build special crime increasing corporate buildings. They are xenophile, and they like other people if they can exploit them, or probably. And fanatic spiritualist. Yeah, the church of the masses. What do they sell? I don't know. Do they say some illegal form of Coca-Cola or maybe alcohol? Maybe they're against the prohibition. They're thrifty, which is only logical, being a corporate thing. And natural sociologists. Probably they like to get an advantage on the softer points. They're also slow breeders. Well, they have others to exploit. They don't need themselves to rely on all the time. The hunger. I just satiated my hunger to have more energy for you in casting this. A ravenous hive. A hive mind. A devouring swarm. Of course, very, very popular in these competitions always. Eating everything up for research is somehow very attractive. Subspace F-hubs. If hubs, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but it gives more naval capacity, which is Probably good for a ravenous hive. Even more naval capacity. And a Gestalt consciousness with a less war exhaustion gain. So this is geared for war. Also very strong for the better armies and scintillating skin for more specialized buildings. With the rare crystals, repugnant and quarrelsome though. And of course lithoid as we go for this here. So that's really something like a lithoid devouring swarm. That's something different. Living on LG465 by Rockbite. Nice name. The Gristalians. Yeah, that's also a nice addition. Instead of Crystallians. During an expedition to LG465, scientists discovered a strange rock given the name Gristalian, capable of turning raw materials into crystals. After several experiments, it turned out that the rocks were alive in a sense. However, the scientists were never able to relay their findings to their home world. Upon reaching a certain set of mass, the rocks started to consume not just the elements, but also the biomass surrounding them. As they expanded, they started fusing with the ships the scientists arrived with, increasing their intelligence. Now this new thread gazes upon the stars for its next meal by Uzgast. I think from the Paradox forums. You have the Republic of Burbs, more space parrots. I love these as well. They're life-seeded on Papagayo, the Gaia world, by Parrot Hilton. Goodness, Parrot Hilton. Agrarian Idol they have. Yeah, it looks very idyllic here. And that's also good on a Gaia world, I think. Fanatic pacifist, so even more efficient. Let's see how they expand though with a Gaia. It's interesting, and they're materialists, so they could go for robots. That's one thing of it. They're also venerable, live very long, and they're charismatic with more amenities. That's I want to see this democratic moral democracy win and prove all theories wrong to what is good and efficient. They're quarrelsome, slow breeders, so they're not agreeing. They are probably very pluralist and not adaptive, a little bit inflexible due to living on a Gaia world. The Burbs are a gentle species. They mind their own business on their paradise planet of Papagayo, while they quarrel a lot amongst themselves. To an outside perspective, they're respected for their composed stature. At the end of the 45th century of the Holy Cracker calendar, top scientists were, for the first time ever, able to develop a small craft made for interstellar travel. But what will these lovely birds find in the cold reaches of space, where no burb has gone before, by Uzgast? And we have the Merchants of Mount Gree, I don't know. A corporate trade league of free traders with a ruthless competition. They look the part, I got to say, and this is very corporate. Authoritarian, militarists, and spiritualists. Curious combination. They are also thrifty, charismatic, and resilient. That's some very special things put together. Bonus points for creativity. They're wasteful though and slow breeders. We'll see how this works out. It's intriguing. The Merchants of Montgre are a subsection of the People's Republic of Kontha, whose citizens were sent into exile after a bloody war with their neighbors. After this defeat, many started working in the trade industry, and over centuries, nearly all trade on the planet was covertly brought under their control by Uzgast, living on the acrylicid ocean world, led by Tyrone, with the pleasure paradise planets. Living on Earth, and they have they are so lovely. Oh yes, rogue servitors, nice. Product of a brief golden age. The machine intelligence originated in a planet-spanning servitor system that outlasted the decadent civilization it was created to serve. Well, but they are still there. They have rapid replicators, so they can assemble themselves even more quickly. Stealth consciousness, of course. Good at war. And at monthly influence. Machines can settle everywhere. They have emotion emulators. They understand their hosts. Let's see who these are. Look at that. The biotrophies. Humanoids. Humans! We've got humans! Emotion emulators. Yeah, they live on Earth and power drills. Is this our future? The Pleasuretron 220s? They're luxurious. Yeah, of course. They were made for pleasure. In the 21st century, the humans of planet Earth made rapid advances in robotics, largely fueled by the sex-doll industry. The sex-dolls rapidly became more advanced, and now I'm demonetized, and capable of performing additional tasks until by the end of the century they were running the world, and they weren't busy servicing their human pets. Yeah, I mean, that's like a little bit like... oh well. The pleasure paradise planets. Will they succeed? Will they not? Could you resist them? Probably not. I mean, they got tentacles, right? They got tentacles. Every weeb out there is going to go down to these. Free tribes of Starbaria. With Kajnaka. Who's leading them, by the way? The pleasure processor. The free tribes with a sword. Ah, nice. Kajnaka. A Zulu, probably. That's the vibe I get. The Starbaria. Starbarians. No, humans. An oligarchic war council. The warrior culture, meritocracy. So great leaders, probably, and strong. They're egalitarian and fanatic militarists. So that they're really the free warriors. Adaptive, nomadic, and strong. They're quarrelsome, though, and deviants. The Rose was the third of the Ark ships sent by humans through the wormhole. It emerged in an unknown part of the galaxy and located a planet suitable for habitation, but during the landing something went wrong, and the ship was forced into an emergency landing that left it heavily damaged. The colonists were up for a hard start, but those who survived were hardy, and though they lost much of their sophistication, these Star Barbarians, or Starbarians probably, made up with a fierce meritocracy in which the strongest warriors rose to the top. We've got the true Iron Dwarves, the totalitarian dictatorial regime of dwarves led by Contorus on the Iron Forge Alpine world. Look at that logo. They're mechanists, they love their robots and have mining guilds. They'll probably get a good mineral production. Xenophobe militarists and materialists, they're that classic trio. Natural engineers. Getting their robots up. Industrials, even more minerals. What could stop them? Minerals and alloys, minerals and alloys. They're strong and slow breeders. The Dwarver. That's the dwarf. The dwarver of iron furnace are metal to their core. Summa Imperii. And another divine empire of, it seems like foxes again. Wow. They live on the Glacialis, the Arctic world of Glacialis, led by Borealis ascendants, a female fox. Their symbol is the flying sword. They're a divine empire and with an imperial cult around Borealis ascendants. The society has a dominant state religion where the ruler is worshipped as a living deity. Have an aristocratic elite as well, so very noble and leader-based. Authoritarians, of course. How can they not be? Fanatic spiritualists, that fits the imperial cult. They're enduring, adaptive, and quick learners. They have good leaders. They must be godlike, of course. They are also deviants, though, and solitary. So they're also rather a diverse people. Glacialis is a harsh planet of perpetual winter and even colder nights. The life that has the misfortune of calling it home is hardy indeed. First amongst them are the Vulpes Lagopodes. From humble beginnings as solitary hunters of the tundra, they forged an enduring civilization that slowly spread to the entire planet. After centuries of petty kingdoms squabbling over the land, the Ascendants family imposed order upon the planet under their divine and absolute rule. Finally united and with a common purpose, it wasn't long until the Summa Imperii turned its attention towards the stars, longing to bring all under the rule of their divine rulers. And then as a contrast we have D-R-I-L-L, drill, then industrial production core of a machine intelligence with constructor bots and rock breakers. They are diplomatic though. A Gestalt consciousness with power drills and durable, getting so many minerals out and getting less upkeep, so they'll have a lot of robots. They have repurposed hardware, so their leaders will take some time to improve themselves, and they're bulky, as you can also see. Yeah, it's the wings. They always get into each other with the wings, right? And then it's just a mess. How the DRILL first arrived to the dig site has long been lost from its limited data banks. The digs at the Tundra world. The code only indicates that the drillers were used both for a mineral extraction operation and to help an archaeology team in the recovery of a mysterious artifact. Oh, I love that. But as the drill finds itself alone on the dig site, no trace of either the artifact or these archaeologists can be found. Stranger still, the drill was never meant to be capable of self-improvement or even to gain any form of consciousness at all, and yet the overspark. The Templar Order of Psi, look, that looks so arty. Artsy Jack de Marloy on Psychop, a Tundra world with that cross. Of course a theocratic dictatorship, how couldn't it not be? An exalted priesthood with something that looks like a machine, but it is indeed a rock-solid faith, an environmentalist rock. Probably connected to purity again. Yes, xenophobe, militarist, and spiritualist. That's always that purity combination. The Psychopra Lithoids are traditional and communal and strong, but they are slow learners, maybe a little bit inflexible. The Templar Order first rose to prominence during the First Crusade, fighting the numberless enemies of the true faith. At first a simple order of soldier monks, the order progressively gained land and wealth through the generous donations resulting of the vows of poverty of its members. Such power was threatening to the secular rulers of the faith who betrayed the order in a bid to destroy the order once and for all. But they failed. Now, rulers of the nations of the true faith, the members of the order spent the next centuries bringing the rest of the world under their banner until at last no heretics were left on Psychop. The Templar Order of Psi now turns to the stars in search of the divine or of more heretics to eradicate. I fear them already. The Velm Galactic Republic. Nice ears, nice circle. Living on Xanth, an arid world led by Zaux Hutekkin. Oh, I forgot the name here. No, I didn't. Representative democracy. They look. Then are they friendly? They are a free haven indeed. They get also all the refugees, immigration pool, and pop growth too. Beacon of liberty. Such do-gooders we like. Egalitarians and very fanatic xenophiles. They'll probably lose their own species before long with the pop growth mechanics. Strong, industrious and nomadic, they are proud people, but they are fleeting. Probably being industrious and keeping the strongness up costs a little bit of energy, and solitary. They keep to themselves a bit. What is their story? After the death of the Xanis, through unknown circumstances, the Velm, that's who they are, could evolve their intelligence and started to form complex cultures and a planet-spanning government. Learning from the remnants of the Xanis, they quickly picked up space travel, searching the galaxy for potential friends. And here we have the Free Republic of Liberthi, living on Liberthi. A despotic empire, an imperial despotic empire. That's an ironic thing, right? With a Corby system, in increasing the possibility of resettlement. Not the possibility, the cost of resettlement is better, less much, and slaver guilds, the liberty. Authoritarian and fanatic xenophobes, these guys are also nomadic, run around, they're conformists, they conform to their leaders, rapid breeders as well. And of course they're decadent and repugnant. They probably seek for alien slaves. The Republic didn't last long after the rediscovered space travel. Not much else is known of the They prefer to live on their own in their rapidly expanding empire. They still call their empire Republic, although a traveler would not be able to tell if they ever were truly a republic. If the Federation of Sekir, the military commissariat that is democratic, it has a parliamentary system for better faction influence gain. It is post-apocalyptic. Look at that. Wow. Death. Are these the death elves living on Arino by Sariel the Conqueror? A female is ruling there with a sword. The fanatic egalitarian and militarists, survivors, venerable and natural sociologists. So they live very, very long and probably fulfilled and warlike lives, maybe. Deviants, quarrelsome and solitary. They're not easy to rule. Only Sariel the Conqueror can do that. I would love to have the backstory, but I didn't get one. But you can imagine one, right? It's connected to the apocalypse, and she has probably taken whatever she's like the Mad Max. That's the Mad Max thing. Oh, look at these. They look crazy. Seppo Howie leads these lithoid colonizers, right? And they live on Plithus. They are a despotic empire, the Plutonoid hierarchy of slaver guilds with a police state to keep them under control. Fanatic authoritarians, they bow, and xenophobes, so they can also enslave aliens, which they probably love to do. They are lithoids and thrifty, good at trade and good at being industrious, getting minerals. They're sedentary deviants. With a lot of nuclear experiments, some rocks came alive and killed everyone. They are evil, but they're diplomatic as well. But probably it's a trap. And we have the human Republican sons living on Oros, led by Boba Fett, the female. An oligarchic military junta with merchant guilds, post-apocalyptic though, authoritarian, xenophobic, militarist, something that comes along with post-apocalyptic. They are survivors, adaptive and nomadic, tough humans, but wasteful, probably a bit egotistical to survive better. Humans are a tribalistic and opportunistic warrior race. Some foolish aliens gave them FTL capabilities. My god, these fools. And we have the Catharian tribes. I think foxes and humans are what dominates this, or humanoids at least. Foxes are probably the single most used species here. Lathira Reinhard leads them to Catharia. They're an oligarchic, irenic bureaucracy with inward perfection and life seeded. Wow, they've retreated to their Gaia world and they want to stay there. They're authoritarian, xenophobes and pacifists. Sedentary and fleeting. They're also natural engineers. And the question is, will they become robots one day? Synths, communal and charismatic. The Vulpatha. Created by Rabadudaba. Born on the paradise world Catharia, the Catharians are rather young for a race entering the galactic stage. Thanks to having a natural aptitude for engineering sciences, their technology is far more advanced than their society, which is still centered around clan-based tribes. Just a few years ago, the planet was united under the Clan Council, situated in the ancestral halls inside the dense woods of Kethra, the largest continent in the northern hemisphere. The Catharians consider their homeworld to be the mutual ancestor of all tribes and is thus regarded as a sacred place and fiercely defended. And we have these These other rock people, the Taverite Serene Alliance, led by Arkun Pitron, who leads the tribes, yeah. Living on Kroller, the tomb world. Also, look at that. In inward perfection, these are life-seeded. These are post-apocalyptic, juxtaposed. Egalitarian, xenophobe, and pacifist. These lithoids are survivors of a strange event of which we'll hear more. They're industrious and strong, so they get a lot of minerals and base resources. They're also deviants, though. Not easy to be ruled, rebellious in nature. This planet, the planet of crawlers, was once the weapons test ground of an interstellar empire. The resulting unnatural high radiation wiped out most native species, but it also favored the development of a resistant lithoid race, the Taverites. When the Taverites found out about the history of their planet, they were shocked and frightened that an intelligent race would lay waste upon an entire planet just to satisfy their curiosity for tools of mass destruction. Now the Taverites cautiously reach for the stars, hoping to never encounter the empire that once used their homeworld for weapon tests, nor any other similar-minded empire. What a tragic story. Good they still live. If the Union of Nth there, moths, are they going towards the candles? They live on Whirl Ether, a tropical world, and are led by a cool ray, a female one. A democratic, a moral democracy. Nice moths they are. Like My Little Pony moths. Free haven. With an agrarian idyll. Very idyllic. A tropical world. Egalitarian, xenophile and pacifist. The love combination. Nomadic. So they'll get immigration and less resettlement cost. Rapid breeders. And charismatic. Also, though, they are non-adaptive, interestingly, and fleeting. So they'll use technology to expand to other planets. In part due to their shortened lifespan, the Screeky always valued little else to finding a partner. Now that technology finally allows them to leave the boundaries of Whirl Ether, will such a mindset secure them a place among the stars? Fenrir Arms Limited, more space foxes. Space foxes. Trust me, when we're going to meet aliens, it will be space foxes. Led by Dak, the daughter of Tabu on Pargas. I like her, that's very designish. That really looks like a fox. Now that I see it, it will be my fox preferred design here. Look at that icon. A corporate trade league with more trade posts to get them a good start. Good business is where you find it, yes. And indentured assets to get a little bit more out of their workers. Foxconn. Yeah, now I get the joke, right? Foxconn, that it is. Authoritarian. They are and fanatic militarists, so probably very dangerous foxes. Communal and charismatic. They live well amongst themselves. And conservationists, so probably something to do with purity of the warriors again. They're weak though, and a little bit decadent. Living on Pargas, the tundra world. Since the dawn of civilization, the Woolpack were all about making deals. At first, those deals often skirt boundaries of the law in order to maximize profits, but those ways were long since abandoned, for all of the Woolpack have learned a universal truth. Nothing beats an honest showcase of your merchandise, and nothing makes a more convincing showcase than military power. And the Starfish Purifiers would also not say no to military power. They live in a Gaia world, the Gaia world of Immanuel, led by Orboglor, the female. Purification committees led by her, oligarchic. They are fanatic purifiers, going for war with the aliens, fanatic xenophobes they are. But they are spiritualists. More like inward perfectionists, but instead they are fanatic purifiers. They also want to get rid of the rest. Charismatic, communal and conservationists, they love themselves, the starfish, and they are non-adaptive though, so a little bit reluctant to leave their world. Originating from the immaculate world of Immaca, these adorable starfish-looking species embarked on a crusade to make the whole galaxy just as adorable, by Recycling all other non-adorable life forms, truly the best method possible. The Rigs fell, an ironic bureaucracy, avian also. This is looking very stylish altogether, right? The tomb world of Rigs, led by Locketral, a male avian of the Mythfell. An ironic bureaucracy and an oligarchic one, post-apocalyptic. A meritocracy, they're xenophile and fanatic pacifists, they're survivors. As that's such, they're extremely adaptive and traditional, keeping on to some traditions, at least in a destroyed world. They are slow breeders and deviants, and do not agree on too much. After centuries of near-endless war, the Mythfell faced total extinction after the release of the bioweapon Neuroplax, which killed 94% of the population of Rix and destroyed the planet's biodiversity. Now Rix is nearly uninhabitable, and the Mythfell are exploring the void, looking for new life to spread their message of peace, and to bring the Mythfell a new home, created by Abounding End. Oh yeah, that was a nearly abounding end for the Rixfell. You have the Covenant of Illos, also by Rixfell, led by Kulpox the male. I mean, that's also very dark, but it's a Gaia world. It's life-seeded, and these juxtapositions are really, really cool. I like that, the Tomb world and the Gaia world. Life-seeded executive committee, oligarchic. Shadow council, so election influence cost goes down. I'm really interested if this will help the AI. That's one of the things that never come to mind for me when playing an Empire for the AI tournaments, but I could be wholly wrong, and that's why I'm happy. Someone builds things like that. That's roleplay, first and foremost, probably, if you do not play it yourself, but we'll see, maybe it's really good. Authoritarian and fanatic materialist they are, so interested in robots, definitely, but they're intelligent, traditional, so filling up all these points very quickly, and enduring, a little bit better, probably good leaders, hence going authoritarian, and slow breeders, the Endel. The Endel gained sapience 410 cycles ago, when according to their legends, Elos was made into a paradise by Nuadel, who made a covenant with an unknown being. Nuadel's descendants now govern Elos in secret and are preparing their species for when the covenant ends, created by the Abounding End. Yeah, there's something else that ends. And we have now the Sutherian technocracy from Iron Spirit on the Paradox forums. That's the near winners of the last tournament. So we need to respect them. This the oligarchic science directorate is now a mechanist technocracy. Egalitarian and fanatic materialist, intelligent and ingenious for that robot stuff, with more energy credits, weak and boastful though, but I mean, they just got it, they live on Sutheria and are led by Besh Naforkan. They already have that thing that looks like CPU wirings. They might probably become cybernetic before long. We have the Shazarak Keepers again, also by the Iron Spirit from the Paradox forums. A machine intelligence, a rogue servitor. Ah, very nice. Refreshing. With rapid replicators. No one seems to do the assimilators, but we'll see. There will be assimilators, I think. They're so powerful right now as an AI. Gestalt consciousness with rapid replicators and rogue servitors. So pop assembly speed, and let's see about the organic pops, the biotrophies. And the strange arthropoids, look at that. And what traits do they have? They are also traditional and conservationist. Yeah, the unity from jobs, that makes a lot of sense with them. And also the consumer goods upkeep going down makes a lot of sense game mechanically with your biotrophy species. It's a very, very well thought out thing. Machine and emotion emulators to understand their pets. Mass produced, pop assembly speed goes up. Repurposed hardware, the leader experience gain goes down. I mean, they live longer, so they will probably not complain, right? Then we have the Kazam synergetics. Although Kazam, living on Kazakar, a corporation, as you can see, of Roderick Dentelnik, with private prospectors for better efficiency, administrative capacity, and private colony ships, very flexible to produce, and free traders with trade value and branch office value increased. That is very helpful. Something, and xenophiles, so they can get people to open offices at them. A fanatic materialist, thrifty and rapid readers. They're weak though and wasteful, so they're really the good traders, also by Iron Spirit of the Paradox forums. Then we come to more Lithoids, the meteorite swarm living on a crater desert world, led by the Asterite. Really nice, also really nice looking. A ravenous hive, a devouring swarm with a natural neural network. Research alternatives. That's something I always think about. Is that good for the AI? If they have more choices, will they make better choices? I don't know if that influences anything, but it's certainly very interesting to play as yourself. A research-based ravenous hive is something that just keeps on giving. Materia. The gift that keeps on giving. Oh my god. What am I talking about? They're hive-minded. They're industrious, so they get more materials and have volatile excretions again. The highly compressed spore created by this species is unstable and contains an unbelievable amount of power. They exert powers. So powerful they are. They're fleeting and sedentary. There are two things that really don't hurt too much. Then we have the silicrite nucleus, the machine intelligence of rogue servitor rock breakers. Again, rogue servitors. The Gestalt consciousness. What is their biotrophy like? Let's see. They have rocks. And these rocks are traditional, of course. They have scintillating skin. No, that's genius and conservationist. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's a good thing, right? If you play that yourself, that is really crazy. The silicrite nucleus, led by the alumite, lives on diamond, and the luxurious products, the silicrites, with high maintenance, but efficient processes and mass produced. So, it's gonna be good, and with their people they have under their wings, that's really, really, really nice. Also, we have the Model 14 kernel living on Jara, led by the Primus, an intelligent research link of machine intelligence. They're introspective, which helps them a lot because engineering is basically their base technology, and delegated functions. So leader upkeep goes down, leader pool size goes up. They are machines, of course. They have enhanced memory, so they get great leaders and logic engines and great research. Luxurious and repurposed hardware will maybe slow them down a bit, but the scientists of a great power nation of Jara planet constructed the main processor of Model 14 kernel eons ago in an underground bunker. It had boosted the research of the nation to the degree that it reached almost space-age technology, but only almost. Unfortunately, a devastating war was started by a planetary coalition against it. Model 14 kernel was to be repurposed for military purposes, but got disabled by a devastating enemy strike. All organics were eventually wiped out by the sands of time, as they never reached space age. Military contingencies repowered the core, and Model 14 will look to the stars alone, with its origin forgotten. Oh, what a tragic story. Then we come to the nation of Cuba with this glowing lithoid, Ocu the Cinernet, from the planet of Cuba. They're an imperial Iranic monarchy with Byzantine bureaucracy and an agrarian idol, so they're very idyllic, but also they don't want to have contact with the outside world. They're fanatic xenophobes. They want to have a big realm, but don't want to let anyone in. They're pacifists, though, so they're not really going for war. I mean, but still, they're not that isolated paradise. They're doing diplomacy, just not much. They're lithoids, meaning high habitability, army health, and leader lifespan. Minerals instead of food. Industrious for more minerals, very common for this kind of empire. Resilient too, which will really make their armies nearly undefeatable if done well. Communal too, pop housing usage minus 10%. So a lot of the Shapa fit onto one world. They're also sedentary and slow learners though, and this is not tragic for them as they live quite long. Sedentary though, it's probably not too bad. I mean, if you're Imperial and you don't have free migration, then sedentary is probably not that bad. Most of their history, the Shapas lived in mountainous mining villages that rarely interacted between each other except for the occasional trade. This carried on for a very long time, but eventually the population increased to the point where rice villages had to be founded even in regions poor in minerals and thus food. Here the Shapas started to slowly develop technology and industry. Here the nations formed, and of these nations, the Qua, ruled by a king backed by a competent bureaucracy, ended up ruling the planet and renamed it after themselves. Now they look the stars as one polity intent of preserving their ways of life. Look at that, that's blinking towards us. That's blinking. I've seen that. But we're not gonna go away. The Shapa are great, Their ships look very nice. And we have the next interface. What are they? They're an intelligent research link, a machine intelligence. They're introspective, keen on improving themselves. They have a unitary cohesion, getting more unity throughout that. Of course, they have the Gestalt consciousness. As they are a machine intelligence, improving their tolerance to war and increasing their monthly influence. They're machines with a very high habitability and immortal. They have logic engines for even more research, luxurious. Their pop assembly cost goes up. Efficient processors. They even get more resources from jobs. So additionally to the logic engines, they have even more output from this research. They're uncanny though. Get less amenities from jobs and custom made. The pop assembly speed is a little bit low, so they are slow starters, but eventually they might become powerful. With the Churk Collective. They're a hive mind with one mind, unity increased, and pooled knowledge, leader level cap and leader pool size increased. Also Gestalt consciousness. We reach into the void, the vast expanse becomes us. Lithoids as well, and hive-minded. Not affected by happiness. They're intelligent though, and traditional, and communal. So a lot of them fit into one planet. Planet of Ethi here. Aludine leads them, and they're fleeting though. Minus 25 years and weak. We'll see how that affects them. And we have the Noorian technocracy. Yeah, when you think of Cthulhu, that is something. And look, Torgol Tidecaller, the female. A very nice name. They want the pearl. They're oceanic overlords, intelligent and natural engineers. So they might become robots one day. Synths, slow learners though. Surprisingly, they have a technocracy. Will get great research, fanatic materialists as well, and they might, as being xenophobe, maybe not become synths, maybe they will improve themselves. The police state keeps everything in check and increases unity as well. If the Panaxala tribes, we've had them at the last AI tournament as well. They are democratic, they're an assembly of clans, democratic. They have a warrior culture. Democratic means election every 10 years. Meritocracy as well. Leader level cap +1 specialist output increased, and even more specialist output to 20% more specialist output. They are fanatic, egalitarian, and militarists, fitting to the warrior culture. They're nomadic. They're then typical nomadic warriors. Plantoids though, migrating maybe. These migrating dune plants. Conservationists as well, as they need to live. Wow, they're probably preserving everything, right? Or they are the pure warriors again. They're living solitary, surprisingly. but egalitarian and traditional. So a very, very interesting warrior culture there. They live on Polysimus Primus, and they're ruled by the yellow shoot. So we got something that is sounds very, very cool like that. And that sounds like something really gothic noir. That's a cool name. Onyx Noir Technocracy. The black stones, even more noir, which means black technocracy. On the Onyx birthplace, led by Oru Knight. They are also a technocracy, and they have mining guilds, as that, of course, minerals help them a lot, the Lithoids. They're egalitarian, increasing the specialist output by 5%, and fanatic materialist, increasing the research speed by 10%. Robot upkeep goes down, though, and they're intelligent, which means they have really, really big research output altogether. Together with the more scientists, science directors. It makes a lot of sense, and industrious and mining guilds also complements each other. Then, of course, there are Lithoids, Deviants, and Wasteful Deviants. To be said, that is a not bad pick, usually. Wasteful, yeah, that is pretty okay in the long run if you have good research. The Onyx Noir are a species assembled from the Rocky Mountains and depths of Onyx. Their birthplace are great, deep crystal caverns, where sounds of rocks crushing and ringing of crystals that, when illuminated by light, produce a beautiful music and light show. Once every 1,000 years, the sun illuminates one half of their planet, causing a new generation to be born from the crystal caverns, forever separated from the other people, slumbering on the dark side of the planet. The Onyx Noir dream of a time when they will no longer be dependent on the light of the sun to live, and finally be able to conjoin both halves of the population of Onyx to spread out into the galaxy. That Arctic world. That gets me in a good mood. The Hadadeshi mercantile guilds, space foxes. What is the dominant population of the galaxies? It's space foxes. You know, for example here, Litu, the daughter of Kalb, leading the Hadadeshi mercantile guilds on Irelauman, the Savannah world, by the way. It's a criminal syndicate, hence they are, in true stereotype, old crime tradition, of course, black. Yeah, that's the stereotype from the olden days, right? Oh goodness, that's so bad. Corporate, of course, increased in administrative capacity, and sprawl penalty goes up. They're free traders though, and they have a criminal heritage, so they are really everyone to their own. Like that's the independent mafia. I don't know. They're egalitarian, xenophile, and pacifist. So their ethics, they're fun to be around, but they're criminals. They're the charming criminals of Irelauman. They're ingenious. They can go for whatever, and thrifty as well, so they get more out of their trades. They're weak and deviants. What is their history? The Hadadeshi mercantile guilds are the result of nomadic merchant tribes that have traversed their home planet's surface for centuries, as power and influence were gradually concentrated into the hands of a few. One young and enterprising house sought any means necessary to outcompete and sabotage the competition. House Irelauman succeeded in doing just that with a mix of crime, bribery, and giving those who worked for them free rein. They consolidated the planet under their reign. Now the guilds reach for the stars, bringing along every illegality money can buy. Very nice. So they're trading in the forbidden fruit. The Empire of Ith, led by Von the Numenite on Ithi, a tomb world. Ooh. That's always great stories. Like if they have a tomb world, usually there's a great story involved. Let's see, the post-apocalyptic, of course, have inward perfection, curling up in their shell. Xenophobe, pacifist, and spiritualist. So that's some of the prerequisites of the inward perfection. What a combination. Yeah, they fear the others, but they want peace. They want to be left alone. They're survivors, get more habitability and lead a lifespan, or tomb world habitability especially, and a longer lifespan even. Look at that. They have a lifespan of plus 50 from Lithoid, plus 10, that makes plus 60 then from survivor, and plus 80 from venerable, which means they live 140 years longer than the usual. I think it's 80 or something, or 85. So they probably live, the leaders you get at the start will probably, if you really play for the win, last your entire empire. They're sedentary too, and solitary. So born in the irradiated ashes of their homeworld, the Empire of Ith started as a symbiotic relationship between the only two hardy survivors of nuclear devastation. The Ma were a planned system, relying heavily on its root system, gaining its ambulatory capacity in the undisturbed millennia following the war. The Ka, geodes, with an almost impossibly complex internal crystal structure, gained their sentience directly from the radiation dusting the surface world. Together, the Markar, these two interconnected species, now reach for the stars, intuitively distrustful of the more ambitious and ambulatory species. They would prefer to be left alone. The Celestial Empire, too. That sounds so nice. And we have something very, very akin to that. The Serene Paradise. Living on Neveril. They're led by the female of Gethna. They're snails. And we have a history of snails on this channel. They're snails that love flowers, as you can see here. They're also inward perfectionists and life-seeded. They want to stay on their Gaia world and be happy, probably, but also they want to look for the stars to see if there's anything they need to protect themselves from. Because they're xenophobes and fanatic pacifists, so peace at any cost. They're intelligent, traditional, and thrifty. Also sedentary and non-adaptive, so they don't want to leave, but they want to progress and spread their traditions and expand their technology. The Dabulan love aliens. They really do. It's just that evolving on a perfect paradise, where the most hostile thing in existence was a light breeze, did not prepare them for the complexities of interspecies socialization. Terrified of social interaction, they spent the majority of their time inside their shells, preparing elaborate gifts that they then do not have the courage to give to anyone. The Intergalactic Tourist's Handbook calls them perhaps the most tragic species in existence. But then again, they do spend their entire lives living on a paradise planet, so perhaps they shouldn't be pitied too much. Neveril, their home. And we have, another good story. The remnants of Imperial Earth, living on Reach, led by Prometheus Primus, wow, giving them the fire, and fittingly, like with a red colors here, an industrial production core machine intelligence. The rapid replicators, pop assembly speed goes up by 20%, in unitary cohesion, more unity, 15% more. Usual Gestalt consciousness, they're machines, of course, and durable, so the upkeep goes down. They're custom made, pop assembly speed goes down again. The rapid replicator more than makes up for that. They have logic engines, giving them more research, 10% more. And they're luxurious, so the cost of assembly goes down, but yeah, as you can see, the upkeep goes up, and the upkeep though goes down. So it's an understanding combination. They have also learning algorithms, so their leaders get better quickly. Even very interesting combination. Upon realizing the potential of an immortal species, the UNE transitioned into a synthetic galactic imperium. Over 1 trillion individuals underwent the procedure, and thus was the synthetic empire of Earthborn. An epoch later, following a cataclysmic extra-universal invasion, all traces of the individuals have been obsoleted, replaced with a unity of machine intelligence. Now, 2,200 years later, Prometheus Primus looks to the stars that were once humanity's and plans to acquire them once more. Reading like a fallen empire somehow too. And we have the Anthrax consciousness, living on the central mainframe of their continental world, led by Anthrax. They are driven assimilators. Now the imbalanced species come again, or empires, right? I think that's the first one. I don't really know, but they are replicators as well. That's probably good. Mass-produced, so pop assembly speed up by 35% even. Luxurious, the cost goes up. Superconductive though, they get more energy credits, very flexible for them. And learning algorithms, leader experience gain quicker. Uncanny, their amenities go down, which is not tragic, I think, for machine empires. Survive, nothing further. No other directives were located in Anthrax's databanks. Nothing but a list of species. Centuries later, all that had been assimilated, their uses catalogued and exploited. Now FTL travel has been unlocked and the universe awaits. But what is their cyborg species? Let's have a look. Industrious and extremely adaptive. Industrious though. That's very interesting. So that's a story-based empire. Let's see. Of course, humanoids. Look at them. These are the humanoids they are catering from. And they also have machine lists. Yeah. We can see it begin. Already. Then we have the spiffing Brits. Oh yeah, now comes someone who is really into memes. And I just created, I think I assume, as I think 98% of my watchers are are male. So the spiffing Brits. But look, what a nice female. What a nice knot. Fatima Windsor. Wow, really. The United Kingdom, yeah, of course, ruled by the Windsor. The Imperial Star Empire with an aristocratic elite. Yeah, nothing goes without the hat for the spiffing Brits, and more hats. Distinguished admiralty. I believe that is because of the hats. They're authoritarian xenophobes and militarists, so a little bit maybe good to spread. They're adaptive. Going into that traditional, that's another pick. It's always good, adaptive, traditional, and strong. I don't know about strong, but strong is certainly an okay pick. Decadent and wasteful though. For the crown, literally the British Empire in space, and not at all affiliated with any YouTubers past or present, living or dead, we swear. Created by Thanks Betwixt Discord, aka the Savoring Steam, aka Vidash Gaming YouTube. And then we come to the mainstream with a purple love or pink love, I don't know. So the spiffing Brits on the United Kingdom, and the mainstream led by also on Hollywood they live. A moral democratic democracy. Democratic democracy, yeah, that's fine, of course. You always want a democratic democracy. There are others, of course. Meritocracy as well. An individual's social station should have no bearing on their profession. Yeah, that increase their specialist output and leave it level cap. Merchant guilds increase merchant jobs that produce also 2 unity. Fanatic xenophiles, so very good at trading and pacifist. So they'll probably get an interspecies mix very quickly. The boogaboo, the molluscoids, they're rapid breeders. They themselves spread quickly as well, traditional and communal. So a lot of them will fit on one planet. They will have great unlocking of these perks. They are weak though and repugnant. Repugnant and xenophile. The finest combination. The ultimate xenophile fanboys. Obsessors of lore, pop culture and other alien species and their lore. They spread far and wide looking for all the cosmic Easter eggs. They seriously started out as my jokey trash aliens, but they always seemed to take over, which was accidentally intentional, created by things betwixt the Saverings, Steam, and Widesh Gaming YouTube. With the enlightened, yeah, mollusks always are enlightened, right? They come from the origin, led by Piglosh. They have a democratic rational consensus, a technocracy, a mechanist technocracy. So they might become synthoids one day, pacifists too, and fanatic materialists. They're intelligent, quick learners, and talented. They are so civilized. One thinks one should have them. They're basically somehow the Japanese, except for the pacifist thing, of the galaxy. Sedentary and weak, though. The quest for knowledge, ascension, and friendship is all this race knows. Created by things betwixt Discord, aka the Saverings Steam, aka Widesh Gaming YouTube. And so we come to the Covenant Empire, led by Truth, coming from Janjur Quam, a holy oligarchic tribunal with an exalted priesthood, ruled by a religious council. They also have a syncretic evolution. We're going to look up what that is. Let's have a look what that species is. Reptilians, strange reptilians, ruled by birds. The Sangheli, the second original species of the Covenant. They are mainly in command of martial matters. Their traits are they're rapid breeders and strong and servile. So really not bad for the purpose they have. Let's go back. So they're xenophile, militarist, and spiritualist. So like proud warriors, I don't know. They're intelligent and traditional, which helps with research. They have a little bit of everything, a little bit for everyone. They're slow breeders, though. I mean, they have two species on, so that is kind of cancelling each other out. And they're talented. The Covenant Empire, from Halo, also referred to as the Covenant, is a theocratic hegemony made up of multiple alien species. The Covenant is a political, military, and religious affiliation, originally a mutual alliance between the Sanxium and Sangheli following a brutal conflict between the two warring races. Sanxium, here we go. The objects of their worship are their forerunners, ruins, and history. The Covenant will unite all the galaxy's species in their pursuit of the greater journey, if necessary with force. They will probably just die because syncretic evolution. Yeah, the AI doesn't do well with syncretic evolution. So if you want to have tough opponents, probably don't choose that. But it could be interesting. One never knows. One never knows. It's playing that yourself. It's a cool choice at the moment. We have the Pion Lurkers on Pion Prime, led by Celui Kiafin. Oh my god, he's hungry. Ravenous Hive, a hive mind, devouring swarm, will eat xenopops. Will it also eat planets? I'm not sure. It has the strength of legions, increasing army damage, decreasing army upkeep. Yeah, of course, the devouring swarm giving all kinds of bonuses for war and for biology. Gestalt consciousness, better at avoiding war exhaustion, more influence. Of course, hive-minded, industrious. So their food is the minerals, of course. They're fleeting, though repugnant. That won't hurt them much, I guess. But they're very strong, so they get an exceptional army damage. Plus 60%, I think. Plus 40% is plus 100% army damage. That's pretty strong in my eyes. Living on a desert world, the most common strain of Pion, scattered across the universe and sleeping within untold amount of planets ever since the first outbreak awaiting to awake. Pion swarm as a whole are a gigantic organism feeding on worlds, but also emotions, most notably fear. The lurking swarm quickly became the dominant form of Pion hive mind, for their resilience as well as their cunning and punishing ground tactics. Adaptation at harassing biological mind and machines alike is dreaded across galaxies. The explosive motes their ancestors once secreted were no more to avoid waste, but they did conserve this unnerving love. Creator Regunes, Pion Swarm Empire are a galactic scourge that dominate ground battles and are extremely difficult to be dealt with. And they are watching. If the conclave of Synadi, led by Gahuni of Synadi, a nice disc here, an oligarchic holy tribunal with inward perfection and an exalted priesthood. Perfect religious nuts, xenophobe, pacifist, and spiritualist. They'll dig themselves in the Raltas and wait for better times, or expand on their ocean worlds. They're rapid breeders. They will expand and have also nomadic pop growth, resettlement costs, and they're traditional. So they're one of the good expansion empires, but they keep themselves diplomatically. They're deviants, though, and solitary. So, on the one hand, they spread a lot. On the other hand, they have the need to spread a lot to a lot of planets because they're solitary. They use more housing than others. And we have the very conceptually named tech traders on Tech Base 1, led by Newton. That's something. A technocratic dictatorship, mechanist and technocracy, classic combination, xenophile and fanatic materialist. So they might go synth, non-adaptive and wasteful, but they're rapid breeders. They use the technology probably to adapt to new worlds. They're intelligent and natural physicists. That is interesting. I don't see natural physicists that often, leading to better weapons and more energy output, and of course more research output. This is a curious combination. We'll see how these geckos fare. And we have the Russian nation, probably also a concept thing, led by Cognat the Male, in the Nest, an Irenic monarchy, an imperial one, with mining guilds and also inward perfection. Fanatic, xenophobe, pacifist, so they can spread really quickly. And they're also non-adaptive and deviant, so they will not spread to a lot of other or different planets. They're rapid breeders, so they reproduce quickly, industrious and nomadic. They really reproduce quickly, and they need to use technology probably to lift themselves to some kind of perfection, maybe becoming adaptive in a way, and then they can spread to the rest of the worlds as well. Here, then, we have the Screech Zealots, a dictatorial purity order. They're fanatic purifiers with increased army damage, ship fire rate, decreased ship costs, increased naval capacity, but cannot access the galactic market, diplomacy, and so on. Exalted priesthood. So, they're really also, again, the mad xenophobes, the mad fanatics, looking for Cthulhu, as it seems. Fanatic xenophobes, spiritualists, adaptive and rapid breeders. So really, they want to spread quickly, but they are sedentary too, so they won't emigrate or immigrate that much. And deviants, as this seems to be the free pick for everyone. Living on Kundia, the Arctic world of Kundia, led by Kashnak. Then we have more Screech, the Screech Purity Committee. And they are also these are also Screeches, also fanatic purifiers, but they are oligarchic, have a Byzantine bureaucracy, are not spiritualist, but militarist. Other than that, they're exactly the same species. That's something also we'll maybe redo with the Lost Colony pick, right, in Federations coming. Yeah, that's very interesting. What does differentiate these two? They are probably more alike to go for war, even more alike. And their bureaucracy will have more of them in one place. So all in all, I think, it's hard to say. I mean, they are more into Unity and they are more like straightforward. But I always go, I think that pop housing usage minus X% is very, very powerful. So I think they are maybe a little bit more powerful, but we'll see about that. Then we have more Screech, the Screech Ravenous Horde. That's a triangle. And I think I've been asked to put them all in one galaxy. They're a purity assembly. They're also fanatic purifiers, but they're democratic. These have been oligarchic and dictatorial. Democratic. They have a warrior culture and are militarists as well. Oh no, they're militarists as well, as you can see here. Adaptive rapid breeder, sedentary and deviants as well, living also in Kondia. So we have 3 times Kondia. These are led by Jaffaba, the female. They're of course very good at ground damage, and so it's really hard to say. But I still think this is the most powerful. Maybe followed by this, and then this, as the AI doesn't use democratic that good. Now give the AI more choices, and it will most probably not make better ones. So even though democratic can be very powerful if you use it yourselves. Then we have Carrie's Crew, a bandit kingdom that came in at the last minute. Literally moments before I started this video, recording of this video. Led by the Mugon, the male. Also, look at that. Yeah. I mean, they want to. The dominance of the space foxes hasn't been broken. Caristia. Living on Caristia. A dictatorial bandit kingdom. That's very interesting. We don't have. We have few bandit kingdoms. They are barbaric despoilers. And they have the despoilation casus belli on all other empires, which unlocks the raiding bombardment stance, which in turn allows us to abduct props from besieged planets and resettle them to our own worlds. They have a decreased opinion for most other empires, and they would most likely use them as slaves or something. They are, though, mechanists, so they also have robots. Xenophobes, militarists, and materialists. One can imagine they might become synths. They're ingenious, further fueling the robot thing. Intelligent and natural engineers. Yeah, that goes definitely in the direction of robots, and they might be very good at that. Combined with barbaric despoilers, I don't know what this is. Are these then synth molluscoids abducting people from everywhere? I don't know. They're non-adaptive though and solitary. Yeah, non-adaptive goes away with synths. They're right. Solitary, maybe too. What is their backstory? What is their backstory? Do these have a backstory? No. The backstory. Cunning and opportunistic entities, even before reaching sentience, the Carries are a booming species, with a civilization based on robot automaton, science outbreak, but also science theory. The seas were the theaters of numerous skirmishes for each crew, seeking loot, fame, and influence on the various factions that were supporting such behaviors. The recent progress in robotic were fascinating to them, with prototypes of robotic pirates integrating crews, a proud achievement for the Carries as a whole. One admiral realized the possibilities such a technology gave them, and what doors it unlocked. The stars of tomorrow could become like Caristia's seas. And such glorious perspective motivated Mugon. He united the various fleets and promised a bounty for all in the depths of space. If only they focused on science breakthrough for once, this truce prove effective, as FTL was completed in mere years, and the rare space fleet repurposed to better serve the new Carries crew. What a thing! What a video! If you watch this through to the end, kudos to you. There have been so many interesting empires, and all of them really are making me feel that I want to play them. I want to test them out. Unfortunately, that is not possible, as my lifetime and my daytime is limited. And so we'll let them play together. We'll let them compete together. We'll let them create the stories of war and glory together in our time lapses. And I think you can feel free to take any of them. I think I've shown all the details you need to recreate if if you want to be inspired by this, just rewatch it, and you'll find something that probably gets to you. They're all very, well, not all, and most of them are very competitive ones, going for the confrontation. So they are very, very exciting to play, probably. They have a very distinct play style, and really about half of them, or really maybe a third, I don't know, have really, really good backstories as well. So that's always inspiring. I would like to imagine a backstory, not only because I show this on YouTube sometimes, but also because it gives me some kind of imagined purpose why I'm doing this. It adds to my experience, and that's what is done by these great backstories, and that's what is done by your work as creators to this game. Basically, you're the ones that also create this game and make it greater and worthy to watch. So thank you in turn for watching this, and happy gaming to you, and we'll see each other when the tournament starts. Actually, the first galaxy is already running. You can see the participants here. It's the Enlightened, the Mainstream, the Serene Paradise. It's the Starfish Purifiers. It's the True Iron, the Evil Empire, Ponite Erosion Council, the Imperium of Man, and the Integrated Councils of Xako, and last, the Giranshu Corporation. It will be very interesting who wins this first galaxy and progresses to the next stage of the final. Thank you for watching, and see you soon, my friends. It's gonna be great. Happy gaming to you.